back to lunch, calling up my man. So BaBa, see what he do. BaBa. BaBa Black.
Hello.
Black Tracks.
How you doing, bro?
All is well, Black. All is well. Let me get this thing together. Get this. Hey, BaBa, say something. I'm trying to get the audio together.
Alrighty.
Okay, that's it. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to another episode of Back from Lunch. Today's guest is BaBa Black. BaBa is a legendary individual here in Washington, D.C. He's a musician, he's a producer, he's a lyricist, and he's our guest today. And BaBa, is there anything that you have to say as far as introducing yourself before we go into the topic of the day, which is habits?
Okay, first of all, I'm about Black Tracks, and we came from the school of hard knocks. And I thank God for that because it made us who we are today. Sometimes you have to go up the rough side to appreciate life. When it comes easy, it's just not appreciated. And I'm glad to see, we go way back from middle school, and we was on a road to do all kinds of crazy things. And I just thank God for that path because everybody that we was running with pretty much that made it reach a greater stage of their life doing positive things as yourself and also been motivating each other with that. So I really appreciate your existence and your strength because your strength helps keep me strong. And brothers like Marcus Monroe and Kerry and everybody. But anyway, I don't want to stay too much on that. We want to talk about self-inflicted bamboozle. We always talk about how we was bamboozled, but we have to get used to stop lying to ourselves to rise above what we need to rise above. For instance, the habits. I've heard people all my life say habits are hard to break. Doctors will tell you habits are hard to break. And ministers will tell you habits are hard to break. But when I found out, Brother Bill, that habits aren't hard to break. We just have to realize that we're content with doing the wrong thing and we like doing the wrong thing because, sometimes wrong things taste pretty good to our soul, if you know what I mean. So once people start telling themselves, I have a habit, but it's just so hard to break. Oh man, cut it out. Miss me with that. We're just abusing the free choice and we are content and we don't care enough. Because if a habit was hard to break, you sure break it once you get on the foundation or something like once a course said, hey, don't drink a beer, don't smoke a joint of weed, or you're going to end up with backup of 10 to 20 years. Then that weed or that can of beer just jumps out your life like it's no time. So it could have been that hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if we stop lying to ourselves and saying habits are hard to break and then start telling ourselves the truth, like, wait a minute, I don't care about breaking this habit. And I'm good and content with this part of my life and accept it.
BaBa,
Maybe you have a better chance.
BaBa, can you expound on some of the types of habits that you are referring to?
Okay, I'm talking about smoking habits, drinking habits, habits of how we treat people. When we now I don't I'm going to talk about the good habits because the good habits, when you doing great things, people don't talk about it as a habit. Like you have a habit of praising God, you have a habit of helping people, you have a habit of teaching, you have a habit of respecting your elders. Now it becomes that you're disciplined and you're a great person. It's not recognized as a habit. When you're doing these good things that you have a habit of is recognized as habits, but the bad things I'm talking about is abusing your body, eating the wrong foods that you know that's killing you. All these things, a hamburger kill you, but wow, it sure tastes great because I've been doing it all my life. Even though the doctor tells you that it's taking time off your life. I could never say, I stopped eating red meat because of you, Bill. And I used to tell myself, I don't know if you remember, I used to tell you, man, that hamburger, man, I know, man, that thing tastes so good. It's just hard to stop. No, it's not hard to stop. I have to just realize, I don't want to kill myself. And then it was no process after that. And I didn't have to go to training school to learn how to train myself to stop eating hamburgers. Once I thought about I wanted to live, the hamburger stopped overnight. The red meat stopped overnight. So these habits of any bad thing, you know what I mean? That's corrupting your mind, soul, and body. Um, wow. Let's look at a habit of not looking in the mirror, checking ourselves.
BaBa,
How we
let me interject real quick. Um, Habits deal with the breaking of habits is dealing with two essential thought processes as far as self control and self discipline. When we
right,
develop self control and self discipline, these are the avenues that are they mental avenues that help us to control ourselves and discipline ourselves in participating in things that are detrimental to our well being, that's not beneficial to our development. But on the other pole, like you said earlier, sometimes we can't just look at the bad. We gotta look at things that are conducive, such as for some people, prayer, meditation, practicing doing good deeds towards other human beings, practicing from controlling our speech when we are in the presence of those that we feel that should be respected. Now, some people come to the point they have had this habit of being reckless for so long in their speech, in their demonstration or behavior, that they think that it's normal to demonstrate as such. And all the time, this is a fallacy of their thought process. It's been just like a lot of things in society,
right,
people have taken the normal and turned it to abnormal, and the abnormal has become normal.
right, right. But even with that speech of speaking street lingo and all of that stuff and all these new words these kids come up with, I see some guys, that's living in their 60s and still talking like that without even thinking about it. But once a job interview comes up, it goes out the door in 2 minutes.
Right.
You
Uh,
know, and I started looking at stuff like that, and it made me realize, you know what? That's just a myth. Habits aren't as hard as what they say it is. It's whether you want to do it or not. That's why they always say, if you really want something, you will make it happen.
the teachers teach that it's mental. Black is all mental. So if we
Right,
believe or we think that we can't break it, or we think or we believe that it is more powerful than us, then that's what it's going to be. We have to think and know that we can overcome. We have to activate what they are described in the East as the third chakra. This third chakra deal with will. We must will it. And when we will it, that the wheel starts spinning and it give us motivation, which give us determination to accomplish that which we want to accomplish. That's just like a person going for a job and the job require them to have a certain amount of information, or you got to study for a test before the job. You got to have the will to determine to say, you know what, I'm going to study it instead of the day go out and hang with that shorty, or I'm going to study today instead of go and cheat, or do something that's going to be disruptive to me progressing and accomplishing my goals and agendas in life with
right.
willpower.
Making a lot of sense. You're absolutely right. Another thing, we have to stop babying ourselves and letting emotions run wild. And I'm talking about men in general. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with where you came from, how you was raised. We as human beings have a habit of babying ourselves without realizing, and it's stuck into our subconscious. For example, I mean, how we disrespect women without really realizing it. You know, a woman walks down the street and you speak, and she don't respond. Before you give her the benefit of the doubt, the average man will label her as being stuck up. Oh, I wish I had a rock to throw at her. She better not ever get a flat tire, because if she couldn't speak to me, I'm not going to stop and change the tire for her. Right? You'll come up with 50 reasons why you don't like this woman. But as soon as your sister go outside and don't speak to somebody and they label her with all those things, then you come up and say, hey, man, my sister's not stuck up or bougie. She just didn't hear you. Or you remind her of somebody, or she's got a jealous boyfriend where she was just scared to speak. Normally she would. You'll come up with all these excuses why not to throw your sister under the bridge. So if you could give her the benefit of the doubt, you could have gave somebody else's daughter or sister the benefit of the doubt, because you already had the knowledge to understand the situation. But
Baba, Baba, I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna ask you what was your viewpoint on why sisters. We can use a universal umbrella, but I'm talking about sisters in in the urban neighborhoods culture are dissatisfied with their so-called black man.
because sisters are looking for us, they're actually looking for us to take care of them. And I'm not talking about from the gold diggers point. I'm talking about, every woman wants a man to look out for them and take care of them. They're like babies to her. And from my experience, what I've seen growing up, that a lot of sisters are disappointed and they don't know how to deal with it. So, a lot of things we did, like I said, first of all, I want to go back to this point for a second, and I'm going to answer that question. A lot of these women may be just in a zone where they do hear you. They don't have a jealous husband. They're not scared of you. At the end of the day, they just don't owe you nothing. They don't owe you to speak to you. They have their own life. They can walk and say, hey, look, I don't hate you, but I'm in my own zone. I don't feel like talking to nobody. They deserve that right. But, we have some women that are stuck up, so we charge all of them for being stuck up. You know what I mean? So it's stereotyping, so we can't distinguish who's a stuck up one and who's the one that just don't want to be bothered, but she's still a good girl. We don't know how to distinguish that. So once we start throwing rocks at these women and stoning them and giving them bad names, then we destruct ourselves by doing that. Because if you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect the people around you. So when these sisters is looking for us to be that strong man for them, whether we're a husband or just a friend or a brother, uncle, whatever, and they see us being weak, you know how the women are, they're more emotional. They start breaking down, losing confidence. So then when they respond to how we act, now we're double man with them. Oh, why you going to that person, or why you ain't speaking? You know what I mean? But if you caress a woman the right way, not meaning physically, but caress her and treat her in a way that she needs to be treated, nine chances of one she's going to be on your side anyway.
I can say that is true, but then what I'm looking at is the psychological dynamics of women in the hoods, in the urban neighborhoods, um, so forth and so on. And one of the things that I have seen is that women, they want something sometimes that they're not willing to give. And the thing about this is a reflection type of thing. You can't just want and don't never give. And just like you said that the woman don't owe the man anything to speak to him. The man don't owe the woman anything in a monetary sense, so forth and so on. Because what I have found out that a lot of women, they engage men, young men, and they are looking for a father figure. They are looking for someone to take care of them financially. And I had a woman years ago told me to my face that it was the man's job to take care of the woman. And I told her that this is not the 50s or the 60s. This is the 2000s. And this is a time where we need two incomes to get where we going at. If a man was financially stable and had access, money, so forth and so on, and he wanted to take care of her, that's one thing. But if I want to path together, it's a partnership, and it's like it ain't about all take, and not give. We got to labor together to get what we going to. That's
Right,
the point
right.
of view.
And, and also, if the male or female ends up out of work, still work with your other half until something else break through. You know what I mean? Long as you know that person is on your side. See, a person could be on your side 100%, but be out of a job at the time. That's not a reason to get rid of that person or saying you're not doing your part. You know what I mean? You have some people, like a woman. I agree with what you said. A woman should bring to the table. But you have some women that's going after the man who's making mega millions and he's a rocket scientist or a judge or a lawyer or something like that. But at the drop of a dime, you end up in a robbery, he's going to run and leave that woman. Then you might find another dude that's looking for work that haven't worked in 2 years, but he's going to lay his life on the line for that woman, her mother, her sisters, her brothers, and everything. So who's really taking care of that woman when it counts? The dude with no money, or the lion with no money, or the cow with $1 million?
Right. Black. Another thing that just came to my mind is that, in my experience, I have seen women take care of boys because they're not men in this scenario. Take care of them, feed them, clothe them, and they son them. And then once they son them, they become disappointed in their performance as far as when they want to go out, when they want to do certain things. The woman go to work, and the dude he might drive the car around all day long, picking up other females, just doing what he's doing, and the woman is very unhappy that this man is not, you know, being a gentleman, as some women say. He won't open the door for. He won't do these types of things that they seen on TV, or they feel that is a part of the persona of a man. But I'm like, how do you expect these things from a boy? Because you sonning this male figure, and he's not growing up because you are taking care of him like he's your son.
Right. And that's what these women have to realize. It's okay to stick by your man, but you don't want to spoil your man and keep him a little kid. You don't want to do that.
And keep
And
him
then,
handicapped.
yeah. Now, I want to give you an example with my spouse. She always loved a double income. Don't get me wrong. But at one point, she said, "You know what, Baba? I need you to not be on a 9 to 5. I need you to chase this dream. Do what you're doing with your art. I need you to travel. I want to package you up and do these things. And if nothing comes out of it, I will be glad that we tried." Right? So I was like, wow, you don't find too many women like that. I said, "You sure?" She said, "No." And when I was working up the UDC campus, she would still get mad. "No, I told you, leave the job, don't do this, man. You're missing out on life." And I'm like, wow, this lady is telling me I'm missing out on life by working a 9 to 5. So I said, I'm gonna try this thing. She packaged everything up. She had some money saved up. When she started sending me on the road, hanging out there with the group I was working with, and I wasn't bringing in as much as I thought I should be bringing in. So my defense mechanism kicked in and said, "Wait a minute, she don't want me to work, but she want me to be the best I could." So what I did was I started coaching her on real estate and everything because she was in a position, her credit was good. And she said, "No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this." I had to beat it in her brain and talk to her for days at a time to where she started buying property, right? Started buying property. And Then she started saving money. Now she's going down south buying property. Now she wants to do this, she wants to do that. Right? She never would have thought about it if I didn't drill her on it, like she was drilling me. And if she never would have drilled me and started sending me around the country and packaging me up and doing these things, certain places I wouldn't end up. So, I talked to her about a month ago. I said, well, the dream still lives, but I didn't get the millions as planned. She said, you know what? If we died today, I would do it all over again because we had a good run. And if I didn't make you quit that job, I never would have got into real estate. So we actually did win. You know what I mean?
That's
So
what's up.
she's humble enough to realize, look, it might not have worked on the left hand, but it's working on the right hand. So if you stick with a person, you thick and thin, and you have a great goal to reach. Because the reward is the chase, But that's different than a person just say, okay, like Baby Boy the movie. I'll buy your shoes, I'll buy your PlayStation. You just sit down and do nothing. Now you're turning this man into a boy, and it's going to backfire on the both of
Right.
them. So um, and when she did that, it made me realize how right I was about how treating these women out here, brother. Because you know,
When you got a woman to stand by you, such as your lady did, that is a blessing. I just thinking about on the other hand, whereas though we got women that are girls and they refuse to grow up. One of the things that I used to share with some of my friends is that these women here in our area, they are like, they really really have a certain mindset, whereas though they think that because they heard the saying that women mature faster than men, but maturity also comes with making adjustments. That's the process of becoming mature. You can't be doing the same old thing when you 30 or 40 years old that you was doing when you was in your teens and you in your 20s, and saying that I'm a grown such and such woman. And you may have a place to stay. Maybe you got public assistance. Maybe you got a job. I don't know. But the whole thing is that growth comes with making adjustment on the man side and the woman side. And anybody that refuses to make adjustments to become humble in our thought process, because though none of us know everything, every day there's something for us to learn. One of the things that I think that's missing in the black community is the rites of passage. Young boys don't know how to be men, and young girls don't know how to be women. I think that we need, collectively to have a form of schooling there, so young men can learn how to respect themselves, respect their women, respect their communities. And the same thing for young women. They need to learn how to respect themselves, respect their community, respect their children. Some of these women, sometimes I hear some crazy things going on. They talking to their children like they grown people, cussing them. You know, I did a video just the other day where a woman, she beat her 11 or 12-year-old daughter like she was a stranger on the street. First, she started off just whacking her, and then the next thing you know, she pounced on her and then stomped her out. But this is another form of, emotions taking over intelligence. And from the man's perspective, most definitely emotions have got so many people in so much trouble out here because we don't think. And that's one of the things that need to be implicated in our development is the ability or the thought process is think before we do these things.
did you hear anything that I said about my son's mother?
No.
Okay. What I learned from dealing with her back in the day, that was how we always say that thing from New York City, I'm my brother's keeper.
Yes,
But
I am.
but actually we're supposed to be my sister's keeper and my brother's keeper. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you can't turn. a devil into an angel. But some of these sisters that appear to be devils are devils. They're just going through an immature, confused stage, and sometimes we have to back up and understand their position and give them space and go at them a different way. And that's a situation. Like for instance, my son's mother, you know, whatever chemistry that we had in the beginning was real. And then I found out ways about her that I disagreed with. She found out some ways about me that she disagreed with. And then it started going left. And it got real bad. But then I had to really come back and evaluate this thing. You know what? Whatever drew me to her, I still like about her. I still love about her. Just because I disagree with the other things, that don't mean I don't like what I do like about her. The great thing. So when she was going through, I'm gonna take you to child support. I'm gonna do this and that and that. What I did was say, okay, if you do, it is what it is. But I'm not gonna stoop to her level and act crazy and hate her. I'm not gonna do that because that's not who God made me. So I continued to treat her nice. And she told me, she said, why are you killing me with kindness? I said, I'm not killing you with kindness. I'm bringing you to life with kindness. Because if I try to kill you with kindness and put a stupid look on your face, that means my kindness is phony. And my kindness is not phony. I'm not trying to kill you with it. I'm trying to wake you up with it. I continue to treat her whole family with love and everything. And now to this day, she turned her whole life around, became one of the best friends that you could have. Her and my wife is like sisters. You know, she's like, we started businesses together, different real estate. All this stuff has happened because I was adult enough, mature enough to say, you know what? She's just going through the thing. And a lot of other guys do, once a girl starts talking, I hate them, but get the sound for. They'll never be friends with those people again and those women. But what I did was I just stepped off. I wasn't just afraid of child support. I wasn't afraid of none of that. Even
Right.
if she took me to child support, I still would have prayed for her because I figured she was just a young lady that's immature in her way and she was lost in a way, and I wasn't going to hate her for that, no matter what mistakes she made.
BaBa,
And
that's an excellent point you spoke on just now, because what I realized when I was young, I told my son mother, I said, man, if me and you should go our separate ways, I'm not gonna be your enemy. I'm not gonna hate you. I say I'm always gonna be your friend. If you don't want to be my friend, that's your business. I'm gonna be your friend. And I'm right now today. I'm friend with my son mother, my daughter's mother, and also other females that I have interacted with throughout my life. I don't have no animosity against them. If they have animosity against me, they haven't shown it towards me. And I try to, make that known. I say, you know what, if we done did this together, at the end of the day, if I'm going to talk about I hate you, you hate me, that's little boy and little girl stuff. If you want
yeah,
to be a little girl, go ahead, but I'm gonna be, I'm gonna do what I got to do for me. I'm not gonna harbor none of that ill will or anything against you, and it has worked out fantastic in my life.
oh yeah, it pays off when you being real. It pays off eventually. You know, like I said, some people are trying to treat you nice just because somebody said be the big person. That's the wrong reason to treat a person nice because somebody else did it. You have to treat a person with kindness because it's in your heart to do it. Now, if they feel guilty from your kindness, that's their problem. But I'm not trying to make you feel guilty, make you feel stupid, or kill you with my kindness. That's not what I'm doing. But getting back to my son's mother, she's brother, she's so close to my family. She will bend over backwards for my wife's family. She'll do anything for anybody in my wife's family after she got to know her. Now she'll do any, and everybody's like, wondering, my wife's family are super cool with her family. And this woman has no interest in being with me. She looks at me like her brother or her uncle or her nephew or her, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
just a natural. And, you know, people say, well, wow, how'd you do that? How did y'all end up like that? But she tells me every day. She said, when I was going through my hate moments and all this, you ignored that and treated me like I was the best person on earth. She said, that's what changed her life. So if we stop doing, oh, that girl ain't right, and this and that, and then turn your back, it's no sense. Now, all the effort that I put into bringing her back to reality, if it didn't work, it was still worth the chance. I mean, it was still worth the try. If it went nowhere.
Right.
You know. But if I didn't try, it definitely was going nowhere. But the fact that I put that effort in, it turned out to be a great thing. So, that's why I look at these youngsters now, and I'm like, man, no, don't smack the girl up. Don't do that. Don't cuss her out because she didn't speak. Don't do this. Respect them, because if you truly love a person from your heart and love yourself and love the people around you, you have a better chance on making harmony and making great music together. You know,
But Baba, that's one thing again. Earlier, you know, I spoke on about making an adjustment. You have to make an adjustment because culture, looking at people around us and how they interacted. This is where a lot of people learn from. They seen their uncles and their aunties have a breakup, and all the chaos that went on through that. And some people started to think that stuff is normal. Or they seen their men's and their girls broke up, or their girls and their man break up, and how they broke up. And people start to, in the subconscious, when we're younger, think these things are the natural way to do things. But it's all about being able to think on the outside of the box and see a better way to resolve these situations that can be beneficial for yourself and possibly beneficial for the other person. But once you make sure that it's beneficial for you, that other person can see what you did if they choose to and make it beneficial for them. Because all that, bumping heads and, taking people to court and, cussing people out and disrespecting their family and, all that chaos, that's the type of energy that got us on all these different pages for no reason, because of emotions, energy and motion that's leading to destruction. It's like a train that don't got no brakes. That junk on and a brick wall is coming up or the bridge is out. That's what energy and motion is. Straight energy, emotional energy that's gone out of control. It's a fire. It's gonna burn, 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 burn.
absolutely. That's how a lot of people end up in the penitentiaries and mad at themselves. How did I do that? How did I let myself lose control? Of the energy and those emotions that you're talking about. You know, old a woman in she was like 98, and she from what part of Jamaica was she from? We was talking about, and I discussed this with you before. We was talking about the OJ case, and she was like, "What you think about that?" So I was like, "Yeah, whatever happened, I wasn't there." And then, but the reason why we came up because we was at a bar and they were showing this clip of Russell Simmons comedy jam. These comedians was out there talking about, yeah, OJ murked these people, and about time we got even, and he's free, and go OJ, and everybody started clapping. Right? And she said, "What you think about that?" I was like, "Hey, it is what it is." And she said, "I don't trust you." And I said, "Why you say that?" She said, "Because you're with the laughing crowd." She said, "At the end of the day, I don't care what they did to us in history. At the end of the day, that lady was slaughtered with a knife. And when do you ever find that funny? If you can laugh at that, I don't want you around me at all talk." And I was like, wow.
That's some
She said,
elevated thought process right there.
yeah, she said, at the end of the day, it's not about how much they hate us. It's not about whether that lady, you felt she deserved it or not. Maybe she could have deserved it in some people's eyes, but it's not funny. And I said, well, how can she deserve it and it not be funny? She said, because if somebody rape your wife and kill your kids, you're going to bust their head open because they deserve it, but that doesn't mean you have to find it funny. You know what I mean? I said, you're right. She said, because if you find it funny, you're going to stoop to their level, you know? And I had to think about that and reevaluate myself and said, you know what? She's right, because if the tables was turned and the white crowd would have laughed, our shopping would have shut the whole comedy club down. We would have been out there protesting. But these kids, now their mother's been killed, they want to turn on TV to look for laughter, and you got this major figure on TV that owns this comedy club and have all the comedians laughing about how their mother got killed. Now, what is that supposed to be for those kids that had nothing to do with slavery? What is that going to do for your own soul to laugh at something like that? So I had to look at, you know what? And we already know these things. That lady shouldn't have had to tell me that. I already know that, but I didn't exercise.
That's a part of the psychological insanity that we embrace unconsciously when we dealing with, events that happen to people. Most of the time we take it personal when it happens to someone that is of our ethnicity or nationality or so-called race. But then when things happen to other people from other nationality, we can find it humorous, so forth and so on. But the teachings teach that we are one. And when we look at it as a one type of thing, it ain't no us and it ain't no them. It ain't no black and it ain't no white. It ain't no, these different poles of things. And what's going on is what they are doing, we are doing. And what we are doing, they are doing. Or we have done what they've done and vice versa. So we can't point the finger. It's about healing. And people don't want to get healed because they are angry, they revengeful and bitter. And
Right,
those type of things, those type of frequencies will keep people in prison within themselves.
right, right. The thing is, like you said, we're one. So when they say treat people like you want to treat yourself, even deeper than that, you have to look at the next person in a way of that is, like if I look at you, I'm looking at BaBa. You know what I'm saying? When I
Right.
look at Marcus, I'm looking at BaBa. So I have no choice. You know what I mean? Because if I'm disrespecting you, I'm disrespecting myself, and I ain't trying to disrespect myself. How many times have you heard the stories that brothers in the penitentiary are beefing, and then when they get locked in together, they just can't wait to put the knife in each other. But at some point, they end up on the same block on the same cell. They might rumble a couple of times. Next thing you know, they reading books. Next thing you know, they complaining about the food. Next thing you know, they have to speak up for each other because the COs are disrespecting them. Now they done got knowledge, something like, what are we doing in here fighting each other, brother? You see what I mean? Why are we fighting? Now they out there trying to preach to people. They got out of jail now. And when you hear these stories, it's like, oh, where'd y'all meet? Oh, we used to hate each other. We was on the street beefing with each other. Now we brothers. So I'm thinking like,
Hey,
skip, cut the middleman out. Look at the next person how you want to be treated and keep it moving.
yeah,
Keep it moving.
transformation, Baba.
Yeah.
Baba, the session is about to come to an end. I want to thank you for your participation and your input. And before we close it down, I want to know if you have any closing words of encouragement that you would like to share with our listening audience.
I'd rather say stay prayed up, keep the faith, have confidence on what God can do, and stay conscious of it. A lot of times we lose out because we don't practice the knowledge that we already know. It's one thing when you're ignorant and you haven't read the book, but I think as man, we have a problem with practicing what we already know. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's my word for today. Go for what you know.
Right. Some of the teachings say that we just remember what we already know anyway. We walking into it, from a quantum perspective.
Right.
Baba,
Stay strong, and like this Corona stuff out here. Nobody's using their common sense. They know this stuff is airborne. They know it can get in your eyes, but nobody's covering their eyes. They just okay. The whole world is wearing masks, so I'll wear a mask too, and nobody's concerned about what could be getting in their eyes. Go for what you know and wrap yourself up before you go outside.
for sure, for sure. Once again, Baba Black, appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another session back from lunch. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, always live life with a purpose on purpose because it's all purpose. Peace.
All purpose, always a pleasure, brother. Anytime. Call me if you need anything. I don't care what it is. If I can provide it, I'm always there. You already know. Tell the rest of the brothers I say hello, and everybody stay strong.
Peace. Thanks, Doc.
All right. Peace.